Okay, Sharon, thanks for agreeing to do this again as you come to the end of your DNA year, or not quite the end, but you're getting near the end of it. How have you enjoyed this DNA year?
It's been very good DNA year. It's also been a very personal year.
Mhm.
I've kind of found myself again after being lost for many years, maybe being someone's mom or being someone's whatever. But I've actually found me, which is always good. There's been some personal issues that I've had to deal with and God's brought up, which is good now, but it wasn't good at the time. But yeah, just that personal relationship with God is more what I've enjoyed rather than that's what I've taken out of it, the personal relationship I have
You,
with
you've
God.
obviously feel like you've grown as a person and grown in your faith as
Yeah,
well.
definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely.
And what about sort of practically? Do you feel you're in a year on? Do you feel that you've learned anything practical, things that you can do that you would have been able to do a year ago, or anything like that?
Yeah, well I've taken on some organizing a few things. Like the letter pick's gonna happen on Wednesday. And also I'm hoping to organise like a community day
Mhm.
for the whole community in August. So looking forward to that. Probably a year ago I probably wouldn't have thought about doing something like that. And I'm also with the work with the Psalms. I've also grown with the Psalms work as well. I wouldn't have thought a year ago I would relish working with children, but that's changed. So
Yes.
um, I think probably because being a single mum, I think you're always trying to organise your own child, and I think trying to organise other people's child is just too much when you've got young ones yourself. So but I think now, I think I've changed with that. And to actually look forward to seeing the kids and working away with them and
That's great. That's great.
building the relationship up with them. So
That's great. I mean, it's great that even in the year that we've had with all the sort of lockdown and not being able to do things, you've actually been able to do some quite practical stuff and get involved. It's also meant that all the teaching, etc., has all been online, hasn't it? Which
yeah,
been challenging.
that's been very challenging. Yeah,
Yeah.
24 hours pretty much on Zoom
Yes.
over the weekend. It's
Yes.
quite a lot.
But I was finished yet, so you've got a couple of trips down south before
Yeah,
before you
we
finish.
go on our first trip's down the 23rd of June for 4 days, and then again on I think it's 14th or 17th of July. I can't remember. We'll go down again, which will be the last trip for DNA1. So yeah, I'm quite nervous about heading down, but I think I'll be okay once I get on the plane.
Yes.
Also fund. We also need to fundraise for that, obviously.
I was going to say, I know you're still fundraising to cover that last part,
Yeah.
and this coming Saturday, although I think people will see this later than that, I know you've got a fundraising event going on.
Yeah.
But the fundraising's gone well, hasn't it, over this year?
It's going well. I've been making and selling diamond painting. And the church have been absolutely amazing at donating money straight into their church's account for my DNA fees. So I think there is still some outstanding money from the fees that for this term. But I think with doing the I'm hoping with doing the bike run and everything else that I'm trying to do to fundraise, that will even itself out. There's obviously £300 odd for the flights and everything to be raised, but thankfully the church has paid for that just now, and I'll just be paying them back when the money comes in.
Yes.
So I would just really like to thank each and every one that's donated. I have tried to email them all or text, get in touch with them all to thank them personally, but sometimes I don't know who's put in.
Yeah.
So I just put out to the whole church. Just to thank you so much for all your support and all your prayers, and please continue until end of July.
No, I think that's one of the things I've loved watching, is just how supported you've been and how folks have really been supporting you in so many ways. So it's had an impact on the church as well. You're doing this year. You're thinking of going on and doing the second year of DNA.
I am thinking about that. I am.
What difference is the second year? What?
The second year is more project based. So the first year, this year I've just done, is just everything's thrown at you at once. Everything's like on your 2-day, they're called 2-day blocks and 4-day residential. That's what they call it, as your training days. So in some of the 2-day blocks, we've had about 12 different modules to look at and 12 different speakers, and so everything just gets thrown at you the first year. But the second year is more a personal project based type of work instead of your worksheets and your.
Yes.
I mean, there is still training. There's still people. There's still classes using training days you have to go to. But there's not as much, I don't think, for the DNA, and it's more focused on what you're planning to do.
Yes,
so,
doing sort of in the community and for the community and that sort of thing. Yeah, that'll be brilliant. So so we're talking about fundraising. That's still going to go on, church.
Right, I'm afraid so.
Hopefully, it's
and hopefully now that we're out of lockdown, I'm able to do a lot more. Yeah. Because we were so restricted before.
Yeah.
Because we couldn't get together and we couldn't do things, we couldn't go out. But I am hoping to have a more fundraising next year, but more like group fundraising things instead of like, maybe I'm thinking of maybe hosting a high tea or something and charging people to come along, and so it will be more like community based fundraising next year if I do decide to go ahead. Right. Instead of personal fundraising.
Yeah.
Because
you're thinking of doing DNA too. If somebody was to ask you, is DNA worth doing? Should I do it? Would you just say yes to everybody? What do you think is something that you would encourage people to do?
I think I would encourage people to do it. I mean, it's been really good for me. But I've been a Christian quite a long time, so I don't know. I mean, it is a really good course to do, but you have to realise that there is things that's going to come up that you thought they dealt with through the teachings and through the speaking, and especially next year when we're more together. Because this year we've been on Zoom, so we haven't actually met any of them yet, apart from on Zoom. We haven't met anybody face to face, which we'll meet. The first people we will meet will be in June residential. So there is a lot of personal issues you need to go through, which I have been through this year. And I don't know if that would be more intense if you were like together as a team. But no, it's been definitely worth doing. And I would recommend it to people, but just to be aware that there is some things that will come up that you think you've dealt with and you haven't. So.
No, that's really honest, and I think that's really helpful, because for me, just watching you this year, I think, and I think others have seen it as well, just growth and building on your, as you say, long Christian life, if you like, but building on that, and that's been really fantastic to see, and that's brilliant.
There's DNA. There's different DNAs you can do. I mean, there is different. It's not. I've decided. I did this one like a full DNA because of the lockdown and because I wasn't working anyway. But there is flexi, and there is like the mini ones you can do just to get a taste of it. I think that's for 3 months. 3 or 4 months is the. I can't remember what it's called. DNA light, was it?
Yes, yes.
But there's also DNA flexi, which means you can still work and do the DNA stuff if you wanted to. So there is different options. You don't have to take a year out your work if you like.
Yes.
To do it, there is options to do it while you work, and there is also the light, which is probably covers everything that you would probably cover in a year, but at a lighter scale.
Yes.
So it's something you could maybe do to start with, and then if you enjoyed it then you could go forward and do the whole year, or and it's really, there's a few different things you can do. There's different levels of DNA, if you like. There's which I did was the full one.
Yes.
But there is the other ones as well.
No, that's great. That's great. Okay. Is there anything else you'd want to say about DNA? Be good.
Just really, I would like to go and do DNA too, but it will depend on funding if I can do it.
Great.
I am hoping to work through the DNA too, because it shouldn't be as intense as it was this year. Yeah. So I'm hoping to work through that, but I would definitely recommend it for somebody to. And there's also the taster days. You can go to as much taster days as you want through the year to get a taste of what you're actually doing. So, but yeah.
Excellent. Well, that's fantastic. Well, I know that folks are going to continue to support you. I know they'll do that practically. I know they'll do that relationally, and I know they'll do that prayerfully. So just a reminder that Sharron's got these 2 4-day blocks coming up in end of June and in July, I think it is. So let's be praying for Sharron through that, and indeed into DNA 2 if it happens. Excellent. Thanks, Sharron. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, church. Bye.
Fantastic. Stop recording.